Your Excellency, Mr. Mohammed Hilal Al-Mahiri, Director General of the Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Your Highnesses and Excellencies, our guests from the friendly Maldives Republic, distinguished guests, good morning. We in the Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce are pleased to welcome you to this webinar in order to identify the investment opportunities in the Maldives. If you would like to listen to the webinar in the Arabic language, kindly click on the link shared in the chat box. Please send any questions you have throughout the webinar in the chat, as Mr. Mohammed Faisal, Deputy Ambassador of the Embassy of the Maldives, will be moderating the Q&A session. Distinguished guests, we all know that the Maldives is one of the most famous and beautiful islands in the world. It is a travel and tourism destination and a paradise for tourists wishing to relax and enjoy the blue-watered nature of the Indian Ocean and its many entertaining water sports activities. Just as the Maldives is today a tourist destination, it has consequently become a destination for investment and establishing enterprises. At this webinar, the economy and investment opportunities in the Maldives will be overviewed by highlighting the tourism sector and identifying investment opportunities in fisheries, mariculture, and agriculture. Moreover, the Emirati investors will be provided with the information about investment opportunities in the Maldives. At the beginning, we invite His Excellency Mr. Mohammed Hilal Al-Mahiri, Director General of the Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to deliver his remarks. The floor is yours, Your Excellency.
Shukran. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, good morning. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I would like to welcome you all to this webinar, which gathers us today with our brothers and sisters from the Maldives Republic, and through which we are looking to further support the current momentum of our economic and trade relations by focusing on developing effective partnerships in several sectors of common interest. Brothers and sisters, the UAE and the Maldives Republic have special bilateral relations that are based on friendly bonds and the common desire to establish mutual beneficial bridges of cooperation on several economic and development areas. This is clearly evidenced in the size of the non-oil trade exchange between us, which amounted to more than 1.8 billion dirhams in 2019, or more than $500 million, according to the Federal Competitiveness and Statistics Center in the United Arab Emirates. Today, we have real opportunities to increase these figures to more impressive levels, supported by the mutual desire to expand cooperation prospectus in several areas. It goes without saying that the Maldives' stunning nature makes for promising investment opportunities for the Emiratis investors in tourism or in tourist sector, along with many other like fisheries, mariculture, agriculture, renewable energy, sustainable development, infrastructure, and logistics. The Abu Dhabi Chamber also look forward to enhance cooperation with Maldives investors during the coming period in order to explore various means to better support these investors to grow their businesses in Abu Dhabi. The potential is limitless, and it falls open us to work towards the achievement of mutual beneficial opportunities in trade, investments, and in tourist exchange. In conclusion, I would like to thank all the organizers of this webinar and wish you all the best of the luck. Thank you.
Many thanks to His Excellency. Now let me invite His Excellency Ibrahim Amir, Minister of Finance in the Maldives, to deliver his welcome remarks. The floor is yours, Your Excellency.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Excellency Mr. Mohammed Hilal Al-Mahiri, Director General of Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Her Excellency Ambassador Aymanat Shabina, government colleagues, distinguished participants. A very good morning to all of you. I will start by presenting on the economic outlook and budget highlights for 2021. The 2020, as we all know, was an unprecedented shock to the global economy due to the COVID-19 pandemic and the economic crisis. And Maldives, with our heavy dependence on travel and tourism, was one of the most affected economies from this crisis. However, despite the shock to our tourism industry, we ended the year with a sharp acceleration in tourist arrivals. And we have been able to maintain this momentum in 2021 with healthy arrivals recorded in January and so far into February. In fact, this week we have set records for daily tourist arrivals after border reopening in July 15th last year, with 3 consecutive days of tourist arrivals over 4,000. All signs point to a strong recovery in 2021. In fact, I am very positive that we can even surpass our budget forecasts for this year. We believe that there will be a further acceleration in growth in the second half of 2021 as major developed and emerging countries, which are the main tourism markets for Maldives, completes their COVID-19 vaccination programs or vaccinates a large share of their population. Also, the COVID-19 vaccination program in the Maldives is being rolled out in a quick pace, where we are targeting the vaccination of all our adult population by the mid of this year. We have made tremendous progress in our COVID-19 vaccination program, and already we are among the top globally in terms of daily COVID-19 vaccinations administered by population per 100. We believe that there is demand for Maldives to travel to Maldives globally, and we can successfully tap into this in this second half of the year as more countries reopen their borders and international travel resumes to further normalcy. We are also proactively engaging with our partners to re-establish air connections and further facilitate travel to and from Maldives. In 2021 budget, we forecasted that we will reach 1 million tourist arrivals during the year, and that we will reach pre-COVID levels by 2023. For all the reasons I have mentioned before, we are now more optimistic, and we believe that we can reach around 1.5 million arrivals in 2021 and reach pre-COVID levels by 2022. Based on the strong recovery in tourism that we forecast for 2021, we project that the economic recovery will be strong in 2021. We believe that the recovery would be broad-based, and we will see strong growth in all major industries, including construction, trade, transport, and communication, and also fisheries. We project a growth of around 34.1% in 2021, following the economic contraction of around 29.3% last year. And again, I am confident we can even surpass this growth by the end of 2021. Next, I will briefly go over the 2021 government budget. The main goals of the 2021 budget include supporting the recovery from social and economic impact of the COVID-19 crisis, implementing the main policies of the Jazeera Rajya manifesto of the government, which is decentralizing government administration, services and development, supporting the development of all regions of the country, and supporting the economic recovery and building a more resilient economy. The 2021 budget will bring forward and prioritize the diversification plans of the government. The current government has long acknowledged the need for diversifying the Maldives economy into sectors other than the tourism to build a more resilient economy. To briefly mention some of the key diversification initiatives, it includes the relocation and development of the modern maritime port in Mali region, investment in enhancing value-added capacity in fisheries sector, commercializing the agriculture sector, and expanding the renewable energy generation capacity. Finally, I will give a quick overview of the 2021 budget. In 2021, with tourism improving, we are projecting that revenue, particularly tax revenue, will improve substantially. On the expenditure side, a quarter of the budget is devoted to the public investments. As such, the government remains committed to invest in social and economic infrastructure to support commerce and private sector activity and to improve the welfare of our citizens. One of the main investments in the budget, in addition to what I have mentioned before, is the completion of the Velana International Airport upgrade. Through the investments, we seek to expand the production possibilities of our economy and to build back a better and more productive economy. The government believes that this is not the time to put the brakes on government spending, as a premature withdrawal of government support could destabilize the economic recovery. Therefore, with this budget, the government will enact an accommodative fiscal policy necessary to further secure the economic recovery that we project. On budget financing, we are working on the issuance of a deep sovereign sukuk issuance of Maldives with the support of Islamic Cooperation for the Development of the Private Sector, ICD. We invite and welcome institutional investors from Abu Dhabi to invest in this sukuk and invest in our potential. Also, another important initiative in 2021 budget is the commencement of a privatization program of state-owned enterprises. The government wishes to engage in partnerships and attract investments from global firms and investors to share knowledge, instill good governance, and enhance profitability of government enterprises. In this regard, to bring in overseas capital for commercially viable investments in the Maldives. Lastly, I'll just mention about the Maldives Fund Management Corporation, which was formed in 2019. The MFMC is a 100% state-owned company established by a presidential decree in the Republic of Maldives and created with responsibilities of fulfilling national goals of development through increase in private sector investments with the aid of government to increase the wealth of the country and to increase strategic investments. The company is working towards launching dedicated investment funds for areas of strategic importance to the Maldives economy, which are tourism, infrastructure, and renewable energy. Efforts to launch initial sub-funds of the Maldives Tourism Development Fund during the first half of 2020 were brought to a halt as the COVID-19 pandemic caused great uncertainty and brought the Maldivian tourism sector to a standstill. However, the company remains positioned to pitch its tourism, infrastructure, and renewable energy funds to potential investors once the global economy reopens to relative normalcy. The Maldives is seeking overseas strategic partners and anchor investors to assist us in this initiative. We believe these investment funds offer highly lucrative investment opportunities for potential investors looking for high risk adjusted returns and will assist us in achieving strategic objectives of accelerating economic growth and recovering from the impact of COVID-19. More information on the funds will be presented to you shortly by the Ministry of Economic Development and Maldives Fund Management Corporation. Thank you all. Thank you for listening, and Assalamu alaikum.
Many thanks to His Excellency. We will now move on to our fellow presenters. And then after the Q&A session, we will have the ambassador's remarks as well.
أدعو معي السيدة خديجة ريشة مدير السياسات في وزارة التنمية الاقتصادية فلتتفضل مشكورة.
Thank you very much. Distinguished delegates and participating members, Assalamu alaikum, and a very good day to all of you. In this presentation, my colleague, Mr. Muja Munir, and I will be giving you an overview of the current economic situation and the various investment opportunities in the Maldives, along with information regarding the various investment funds. Maldives is a nation of islands in the Indian Ocean that spans across the equator. The country is composed of 20 atolls, 1,192 islands, 185 inhabited islands. United Arab Emirates ranked third among the top 10 importing countries to Maldives for the period of January to October 2020. Foreign direct investment flows to Maldives accounted for a record level of US dollars 565 million in 2019, which is an increase of 5% when compared to the same period of 2018. Maldives stands as the third recipient of foreign direct investment among the small island developing states. As you can see from this slide, the Maldives economic policy is founded on 4 pillars, which is decentralization, the blue economy, resilient economy, and pro-market policies. Maldives has strongly enjoyed economic growth coupled with considerable development on the country's infrastructure and connectivity. The economy has grown at an annual rate of 6.4% during the 5 years prior to COVID-19 crisis. The tourism sector contributes the most to the economy of the country for many years and have contributed more than 25% to the real output. By December 2020, the Middle East region as a whole recorded a positive growth of 4.3% compared to the same period in December 2019. UAE stands sixth with 6,177 arrivals since the border reopened. Though uncertainty remains, the year 2021 looks promising as tourism takes a new turn, adjusting to the new normal. The Maldives is well connected with the rest of the world. Currently, there are 9 operational airports and 3 ongoing airports. Also, 3 commercial ports are under development. Scheduled ferry services from Malé to various islands makes traveling within Maldives even much more easier. Within the tourism sector, there are many existing opportunities for the investors. These include tourist hotels, marinas, tourist vessels, and integrated tourism development. We will soon be launching avenues for holiday homes and private islands to develop luxury accommodation, integrated hotel, and real estate in different areas of the country. The construction sector has also remained as an important economic sector for the country. Construction sector in the Maldives has been booming with an increase in output stemming mainly from public sector investment programs. The bank credit to the sector grew by 12% in the first half of 2019 when compared to the corresponding period of 2018. As of the fisheries sector, we have seen a slight growth of output share in the past years. Mainly about 47% of fish exports are fresh, chilled, or frozen tuna. Recently, foreign investors are allowed to invest in the production and value addition of skipjack tuna and yellowfin tuna with about 75% of shareholding. In addition, there are multiple opportunities in this sector for the investors, such as fish processing, storage facilities for chilled or frozen fish, aquaculture, mariculture, production of quality organic produce, poultry farming, smart agriculture, indoor and outdoor farming, and high value-added hydroponic farming. The agriculture sector is prominent in the livelihood of the rural population of the Maldives. The agriculture sector contributed 4.7% share of output in the year 2019. Investment opportunities in this sector include mariculture production, value-added fisheries, production of quality organic produces for resorts and islands, commercial egg production, and sustainable fish farms. As a part of the vision to increase connectivity, labor mobility, and economic diversification, the government is open to engage with private sector to redevelop and upgrade the current airport infrastructure. The government of Maldives is also seeking sustainable and emission-low transportation systems. One of the major ongoing flagship projects that the administration is seeking to establish is the transshipment port in the Maldives, which will include services such as bunkering, maritime security, warehousing, packaging, manufacturing, cruise and ferry terminal, airport, and real estate opportunities. The transshipment port project will soon be open for investments. Invest Maldives is the government agency which is entrusted with promoting, regulating, and licensing foreign investors in the country. It is the first port of call for all foreigners who are keen on investing in the Maldives. Invest Maldives is a one-stop shop for all investors-related services housed within the Ministry of Economic Development. Potential investors who want to invest in the Maldives can refer to the Foreign Investment Act and Foreign Direct Investment Policy, which stipulates the broad classes of business activities that can be carried out by a foreign person. Capitalizing on the numerous benefits of investing in Maldives, many reputed international brand names such as Hilton, Taj Hotels, Jumeirah, Sheraton have already established their presence in the country. The investors who wish to invest can do so also through the unsolicited proposal route, where private investors can submit innovative proposals to the government at their own initiation. Unsolicited policy proposal was established on 28 January 2019. The process of submitting USP is simple, and its secretariat is housed within the Ministry of Economic Development. The USP submitted under the policy will be reviewed, and the final decision will be made by the Cabinet or the Economic Council. Some of the other routes for investing in the Maldives are the Special Economic Zone route, which is for large-scale investment, which is exceeding $150 million US, and public-private partnership and government tenders, where the government will request for proposals on investment to which it seeks. Thank you all very much for listening, and please do contact us for any further information. Now, Mr. Muja will take over from here and explain a bit more about the investment funds that are available. Thank you.
Hello. Yeah. Hi. My name is Muja Monir, and I'm going to go ahead with a quick introduction of the Maldives Fund Management Corporation. So going ahead, I think the Minister of Finance has given a brief introduction of the Maldives Fund Management Corporation. So I'll try to keep this short. As the Minister highlighted, we are a state-owned company which was formed in 2019 with the objective of bringing in investment via mostly overseas capital, via mostly investment funds. So we are right now working on launching 3 investment funds for areas of strategic importance and areas which offer commercially viable investment opportunities as well. So one of the first areas is tourism, tourism being the main driver of economic activity in the Maldives, and tourism being the main driver of economic activity, we feel that it is an area which offers highly lucrative investment opportunities for potential investors. So the Maldivian tourism industry has been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic as well, but we expect to see a revival in tourism numbers in the near future as the world keeps opening up. As you are aware, we are a world-leading tourism destination with famous for its one island, one resort concept. For the Maldives Tourism Development Fund, what we are looking for is to launch a tourism investment fund which offers investors the opportunity to come in and to gain diversified exposure to investment in the Maldives, as opposed to the complexities associated with the due diligence and one-on-one transactions for resort investment in the Maldives. So we are looking for investors for sub-funds of the Maldives Tourism Development Fund with investment of around $100 to $170 million depending on the appetite of potential investors as well. So we, in addition to investors, we are also looking for world-class hospitality operators, developers, and contractors as well. So right now, as the minister highlighted, we are looking for foreign strategic partners to come in as anchor investors, and we are also on the lookout for financial intermediaries who would facilitate investment from institutional investors, high net worth individuals, and who would assist us in corporate debt issuances as well. So this is just a brief structure. So we will be looking to add on with more sub-funds in the future as well. So next we have the Maldives Renewable Energy Fund. Maldives being a low-lying island nation, which is faced with the threat of climate change. We expect to stay at the forefront in the fight against climate change and to lead by example as well. We have ambitious targets for renewable energy with the objective of achieving 70% peak load energy requirement from renewable energy sources, that is mostly solar. So we are looking, what we are looking for right now is investors who would come in to launch multiple sub-funds with assets under management target of $25 to $50 million as well. So the solar is a tested and proven model in the Maldives. So we would like to increase our solar capacity through the investment fund as well. So next, finally, we have the Maldives Infrastructure Fund, which would assist in developing the required infrastructure to cater for the infrastructure gap in the Maldives. So the infrastructure fund would facilitate investment in commercially viable, in the sense that we would structure projects in such a way that these projects associated with the underlying assets in the infrastructure fund come with contractual cash flows associated with it to ensure a steady return for investors. So we are looking for investors, those who would come in with different types of contractor financing as well, who could perhaps bring in some level of financing structure with them as well. So for the infrastructure fund, we are looking to upwards of 160 million for investment through the infrastructure fund as well. Finally, we would like to highlight that the Maldives Fund Management Corporation had launched the SME Innovation Fund last year, which is the first fund for private equity for SMEs in the Maldives, which is working towards providing venture capital for SMEs in the Maldives as well. So overall, we would like to highlight that the MFMC is looking for partners who would assist us in bringing in overseas capital for these investment funds. And what we offer is investors an opportunity to gain exposure to private equity and real estate, as well as Maldives as an emerging market, and to come in as and to gain diversified exposure to commercially viable investment opportunities in the Maldives. So that's a quick summary. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Yep. Okay, distinguished guests, greetings from the Ministry of Tourism. Today I'll be giving a brief on the existing and upcoming investment opportunities in the tourism sector of Maldives. My name is Ali Shinan and I'm the Director of Planning and currently the Acting Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Tourism. We'll start off with a short introduction about the Maldives as a destination and then go over the investment process and opportunities available in the tourism sector. First of all, I think it's worth highlighting notable achievements the Maldives has accomplished with the past year, given that it was one of the most challenging years for the global tourism industry. The Maldives has been awarded the world's leading destination of 2020 at the World's Travel Awards, and also we have obtained the Safe Travel stamp by WTTC for our numerous efforts to make Maldives a safe and secure destination. Here you can see the number of registered tourist facilities in the Maldives. And on the next slide, you'll see here the number of reopened, currently operating tourist facilities since the border reopened on July 15th. One of the key USPs of the Maldives, especially during this global pandemic, is the islands are self-contained, or it can be said that a natural social distancing is maintained in the Maldives. The Maldives resort concepts are developed on one island, one resort, and only the tourists and staff remain on the island, which greatly reduces the risk of transmission of COVID-19. Moving on to the next slide, this is one of the main reasons why, despite closing the borders from March till July 2020, we managed to reach a number more than 555,000 tourists by the end of the year 2020. So far this year, we have received around 138,000 tourists, which we believe indicates that tourism industry of Maldives is headed towards recovery at a substantial rate. The top market of 2020 were Russia, followed by Italy, India, UK, and China. Looking at the nominal GDP contribution figures as of 2019, tourism has maintained its position as the number one contributor to the GDP with 21.5%. Next slide. Moving to the potential investment opportunities in the tourism sector, the government of Maldives welcome all potential investors. And it's important to note that with the 10th Amendment to the Tourism Act at the end of last year, integrated tourism development projects such as private islands and real estate tourism can now be established. Furthermore, all tourism leases are leased for a period of 50 years, which can be extended up to 99 years, and lease rent will start from the date of construction grace period. Currently, general rule is we give a construction period of 3 years to all leased tourist facilities or islands. From this slide, you can see how rent is calculated. Rent for tourism leases are calculated based on the geographical regions now. And for most southern atolls of the country, the rent is calculated at $2 per square meter, where you can see from this slide, for an area less than 200,000 square meters, and is capped at $250,000. And $4 per square meter for the northern atolls, and $8 for the central region. As for the current investment opportunities in the sector, a total of 28 islands have been allocated for tourism purposes, by the president, and this will be available from our website. The list will be available from our website, and all these islands will be leased for 50 years initially, which can be extended up to 99 years. And all these islands will be leased in 3 phases based on their geographical location. On this slide, you can see a brief overview of the atolls that are allocated for each phase. So for the phase 1, we have allocated the northern atolls, which is Ha Alif, Ha Dal, Chaviani, and Noon. And for the phase 2 of the bidding, we have allocated the southern atolls, and for phase 3, the central atolls of the Maldives. So currently, as I mentioned before, phase 1 bidding is ongoing for 4 of these islands. Details will be available from our website. The deadline for submission of the bids is 7th March 2021. 11 islands, as you can see from here, will be open for bidding in the second phase, and bidding for the phase 2 will open tentatively on 24th March, and deadline for bid submission for the second phase is 3rd June 2021. And finally, the phase 3 will kickstart with 4 islands, and here you can see the timeline for the third phase bidding. All these islands, as I mentioned before, will be leased for 50 years with possible extension up to 99 years. So before I conclude, I would like to highlight on the ongoing tourism properties under development. We've got around 144 properties under development with 80 distressed islands. Currently, we are working on a mechanism to kickstart these halted projects. So I believe this is also a great opportunity to invest in. So yeah, that's basically what I'll be covering. So thank you for taking your time and listening to my presentation. Thank you.
Sorry, I think we have a problem with the MC. She can't talk. So we will start with the presentation investment opportunities for fisheries, manufacture and agriculture in Maldives by Mr. Ibrahim and Mr. Aden. The floor is for you.
Good morning. If you can provide me the access rights to share my presentation, please. Thank you. Good morning and welcome to the webinar. My name is Adam Ziad, and I'm going to present to you about the investment opportunities for fisheries, mariculture, and agriculture in the Maldives. The presentation will be delivered in 2 halves. The first segment by myself on fisheries and mariculture, followed by the second half from Ibrahim Shabao. To start with, try to give you a brief background on the fisheries sector of the Maldives. It is actually the second most important economic sector of the Maldives, and employs roughly about 20% of the labor force and accounts for also more than 98% of the physical exports from the Maldives. What we have is 100% local fishing fleet. We don't issue foreign fishing licenses, and we're considered as the home of pole and line by the retail market. Giving you a bit of a background about annual catches from the Maldives. As you can see from the graph, the majority of the catches is comprised of skipjack tuna, which is caught by pole and line, followed by large yellowfin tuna, which is caught on hand line gear. If you look at the graph, you would also notice that our catches peaked at around 187,000 tons in 2006, which was followed by a sharp decline. But the catches have maintained at reasonable levels since the start of 2011, 2012, and it's hovering around 140,000, 150,000 tons at present. What we've got is a very clean and green, sustainable fishery sector. Pole and line is one of the most environmentally friendly forms of fishing in the world, and this has been acknowledged by a number of environmental NGOs, notably by also Greenpeace and WWF. Skipjack tuna caught in the Maldives is, that is caught on pole and line, is certified by the Marine Stewardship Council as sustainably caught, and it's also a highly selective form of fishing. The annual catches from the pole and line skipjack tuna fishery and handline yellowfin tuna fishery accounts for more than 98% of the annual catches for the Maldives. The rest coming from minor components such as the reef fisheries, which would mainly target the local resort market, and also a small export-oriented group of fisheries that would target the Southeast Asian markets. We also have a budding fishery that's targeting diamondback squid, and what we found is we've got excellent catch rates in the Maldivian waters, and then this was identified during the initial pilot phase. This is a fishery that we're trying to develop and that we're trying to connect to the export markets. Aquaculture, again, another sector that is very much the focus of the government and the blue economy agenda. Although it is at an infant stage at the moment, groupers and sea cucumbers have been farmed locally, and then through hatcheries that's been developed in a couple of parts of the country. What we have is abundance of clear blue waters that is pristine, and that's very much suitable for aquaculture development in the country. Through a World Bank project, we started to develop a multi-species hatchery in one of the southern islands of the country. And we're also developing a research and demonstration facility that would contribute towards capacity building that is necessary for the aquaculture sector to kickstart in the Maldives. As look at the various investment opportunities in the fisheries and mariculture sector. The harvesting sector is something that we have strictly limited for the Maldivians only. And as I mentioned during the start, we've never issued foreign fishing licenses, and we would want to maintain it in that sense for the future as well. However, the processing sector is open for foreign investments. We've got potential for investments such as canneries, pouch plants, and this would basically be processing skipjack tuna that is caught in the Maldives. And we're also open for fresh fish processing facilities that would process yellowfin tuna caught in the handline fishery. As I mentioned, the diamondback squid processing and export is another potential area that could kickstart with further investments. And aquaculture investments, those targeting grow-out farms, hatchery, feed mills, etc., are most welcome as well. This was touched upon briefly during the presentation from Marisha. And for the aquaculture sector, we allow actually a maximum foreign shareholding of 100% with a minimum initial investment of $1 million US. And the foreign investment agreement could go up to 50 years. And then this is all would be approved through government approval process. For the skip check and yellowfin tuna processing, the maximum foreign shareholding could go up to 75%. With the minimum initial investments specified on the slide. So 5 million for skip check tuna processing and $1 million US for the yellowfin segment. And then that brings to an end of the segment about the fisheries and mariculture sector. I would like to invite my colleague Shabao to take over from here.
Assalamu alaikum. Thank you very much, Ziad. Yeah, just to continue on from what Ziad has presented, agriculture sector is the third sector of the economic sectors of the Maldives, and His Excellency Amir, the Finance Minister, and of the team from MFLC has highlighted the importance of investing and promoting commercial agriculture in the Maldives. When we look into the main aspects of agriculture, it is mainly a horticultural system that we employ in the Maldives. There is a high focus of growing papaya, chili, cucumber, and banana. As you can see from the table, the import values of papaya in US dollars is around 2.14 million US dollars. Chili is 1.62 million, cucumber 1.42 million, bananas 1.42 million, which gives us the clear picture that there is a high potential market to be developed here in the Maldives and production system as well. Maldives, as you would know, as I have highlighted as well, is a high importing country that provides expansion and investment opportunities for local production in agriculture. The sector employs around 7,000 farming families and a number of commercial market growers who aim to grow to the tourist industry, mainly into the hospitality industry. There is an increased demand for high quality, fresh and processed local foods, especially in melons, papayas, banana, and short-term leafy vegetables that can easily be grown in the Maldives. Market growers focus on the tourist industry mainly, as I have said, and as the main market for the local agricultural produce. The average number of tourist arrivals is around 1.5 million, as the tourism ministry has also said, and that gives us a potential market to be explored in the Maldives. Next slide, please. Yeah. When we look into investment areas in agriculture, introduction of high efficient greenhouse-based vertical hydroponic systems is what we are looking for at the moment, because the land expansion is fairly limited because we have very small islands in the Maldives. So vertical systems and mainly soil-less growing systems is what we seek. And to support the distribution of agricultural produce, we need refrigerated cargo boats with compartments. Also, investments on cold, dry storage facilities, processing and packaging plants, those that would use renewable energy, that can be linked with the Maldives Renewable Energy Fund and the Maldives Infrastructure Fund as well. And investing in local production of environmentally tagged, safe, local grown Maldivian papayas. We do have a good agriculture practice standard established in the Maldives. We call it the Maldives Gap. And it is with MGAP, it would be very easy for us to explore niche markets, especially in United Arab Emirates and other Middle Eastern markets as well. Land, as Risha has said, is available for commercial agriculture, farm development, including poultry as well in the Maldives. Thank you very much on behalf of Ziad and I.
Sorry, but we have a problem with our MC. Now it's going to be the remarks from His Excellency Ahmed Khalil, the Minister of State of Foreign Affairs, Maldives. Please, the floor is for you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Distinguished Minister of Finance, Honorable Ibrahim Amir, Director General of Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce, Excellencies and distinguished representatives from the United Arab Emirates and the Maldives, Assalamu alaikum, and a very good morning to you all. Let me begin by congratulating the leadership, government, and the people of UAE for the recent major accomplishment of Hope Probe's Mars orbit insertion, making the UAE as the first Arab nation and the fifth in the world to reach the red planet. Congratulations. Really, really remarkable achievement. I take this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation to the Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce for co-hosting this timely, exclusive investment webinar, along with the Maldives Embassy in Abu Dhabi. It was only yesterday that we completed our first joint committee meeting at the very high level, ministerial level meeting. And I think the timing for this webinar is very correct. I would like to highlight that as an important initiative led by our Foreign Minister, Abdullah Shahid, the Foreign Service is working tirelessly with our partners to build back better and stronger. Along with relevant line ministries at home, our embassies are actively working as agents to mobilize aid, promote tourism, facilitate trade, and attract investment opportunities. Our main objective is to frame a common narrative on the opportunities in the Maldives to tailor it to the countries with a wider outreach through our diplomatic missions abroad. Let me also mention that the Foreign Ministry's role is to facilitate the important networking and collaboration between key stakeholders in UAE and here in the Maldives. This webinar is a perfect example of these efforts. As Minister of Finance, His Excellency Ibrahim Amir noted, the COVID-19 pandemic has had a significant negative impact on the economy and the development trajectory of our country. Efforts like this webinar in ensuring that we bring our partners together and discuss ways to further enhance economic cooperation between our two countries will ensure that we revive our economies and ensure they are more resilient. Thank you, Minister, for your valuable remarks. Your participation also reflects the priority of the government in further enhancing the economic cooperation between the Maldives and UAE. Let me also thank the senior officials and colleagues from the participating line ministries for the valuable participation, input, and support extended towards successfully delivering this webinar. Indeed, to build back better, we need to work together efficiently and effectively. This webinar is undoubtedly a stepping stone in our recovery efforts to build resilience through partnership in UAE. More importantly, it is crucial that we keep our conversations ongoing and see how we can deliver results. Our embassy in UAE, under the leadership of Ambassador Sabina, remains at your disposal to address any specific queries you may have as a follow-up to our today's discussions. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. We'll now start the Q&A session with our mediator.
Thank you, all the participants, for some questions that we have received. And if there is any further questions, please proceed. That our presenters will be more than happy to provide you the answers that you seek. There's one question that we have received, which is from Abu Dhabi National Exception Company. And the question goes, how are you planning to promote recreational tourism opportunities in Maldives this year? Is your campaign just digital, or will you consider live shows if they happen? I would like to request Tourism Ministry to respond to this question. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes. Now we can hear you.
Yeah, with regard to the questions, yes, with the current situation, since the situation is a fluid situation, we are currently just waiting for the situations to be favorable. And if the situation allows, we will be conducting and also will participate in various shows, live shows as well. And currently, the Maldives Marketing and PR Corporation, which is the SOE, who is handling the marketing activities of the destination. So as far as I know, there are planned dive events in the Maldives and also dive shows and boating shows. Currently, discussions are underway with Dive Association to have a dive show in the Maldives as well. So, and as planned, this year, a Malaysia International Dive Show will be participating in this show, and also the Japan Marine Dive will be participating in the expo as well. Thank you.
Are there any other questions, Mr. Mohammed Faisal?
Faisal, you're on mute.
I think we have one more question. I would like to present you the question right now. The question is asked by Mr. Saad. It is asking, please advise if Maldives have any feasibility study for some of the projects that we are looking to have, or ROI for the investment funds in the areas that that was highlighted. Mr. Mujah, would you be able to respond to this question? Thank you.
Hello. With regard to the investment funds marketed by MFMC, we have actually we have prepared the information memorandum, investment policy statement, and other required documents. So we were ready. We were looking to go into the market last year, but we have not been able to. But once the situation allows us, we'll be going to potential investors with the full information memorandum. But even before then, if anybody is interested, we expect them to show their interest, and we can provide information with regard to return figures and so on, as well as some detailed numbers on projects we are looking at. Yeah.
Thank you very much. As of now, since we have no further questions, the questions and answer sessions will be over. And if there is any further questions later, we will be able to provide you the answers through emails and other forms. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed Faisal. Now for the final remarks, I would like Her Excellency, the Ambassador, Ms. Aminat Shabina, Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Maldives, the UAE. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Sarah. Excellencies and distinguished participants, Assalamu alaikum. At the outset, let me join the State Minister in congratulating the leadership, government and the people of UAE for the Hope probe's successful arrival to Mars on 9th February, which has given the Arab and the Islamic world an achievement in the global race to space. Today, as we wrap up, the first such webinar co-hosted by the Maldives Embassy in UAE and the Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce and Industry, I would like to take this opportunity to sincerely thank Finance Minister, His Excellency Ibrahim Amir, State Minister of Foreign Affairs, His Excellency Ahmed Khalil, Director General of Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce and Industry, His Excellency Muhammad Hilal Al-Mahri, and eminent participants for taking part in paving the way for future collaborations in a number of areas between the Maldives and UAE. It is my pleasure to note that this webinar has brought together an impressive array of information by our distinguished speakers who provided a thorough insight into economic prospects and potential areas of investments in the Maldives. I also take this opportunity to thank distinguished participants for the engaging Q&A. I am confident that the objective of this webinar would be met and UAE investors would have more confidence in investing in the Maldives. Allow me to express my heartfelt appreciation to the UAE government for the close cooperation, the Abu Dhabi Chamber of Commerce and Industry for the arrangements made to make this webinar a successful event. And at this juncture, I also thank His Excellency State Minister Khalil, His Excellency Foreign Secretary Abdul Ghafoor, and Secretary Multilateral at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Dr. Hala Hamid and team for their immense support to hold this webinar. Stay safe. Shukran. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you, Your Excellency, for your kind words. In conclusion, I thank the Abu Dhabi Chamber for providing the opportunity to organize this investment webinar and its support and encouragement to UAE investors to learn about the benefits of investing in the Maldives in order to contribute to the common interest. We also thank the distinguished participants from the Maldives for their great interest in business cooperation and investment with the business sector in Abu Dhabi. We wish that this webinar has realized its desired objective. Thank you everyone for participating and being here. We hope you have a good day.